Good day, and welcome to my 250 subscriber special. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I wasn't really too sure what to do for this video, but eventually I decided to do a mix of Q&A and horror poetry. We have 4 questions sent over by some smashing friends of the channel. Additionally, each sent over a single word for me to make into a short horror poem, so I hope you enjoy them both. This will be my first time going into some of my history. Should be a pleasant trip down memory lane, hopefully without too many flashbacks at all the terrible things I've done. Remember, there are 2 very important rules when learning about JAR 19. The first, accountability. The more you learn about me, the more implicated you become, so be warned. The second, no shipping, no fanfiction, no exceptions. Now, without any further ado, we have our first question. The Dark Tower asks, "So, how old are you?" I am 2 centuries old, thereabouts, having been born, I suppose you could say, during Britain's Industrial Revolution. Though it was less of a birth and more of an isolated growth. It's been a very interesting journey over the years. I wasn't always permitted on the surface, however there have been exceptions over time, though it was only recently I've been granted free roam. So many stories, perhaps I'll share them with you someday. Until then, you'll just have to be patient. And the word is vegetate. The allure of the screen is a strong subtle urge, it reaches out vastly in a great global surge. This entertainment has such an allure, it takes on all kinds, of that I am sure. What abundant variety for every medium, a nice little break to distract us from tedium. A person can rest and put up their feet, get comfy, relax and let boredom deplete. This all can seem swell, with so much to inspect, however this leisure can have a sordid effect. Minutes pass by, which turns into hours, bright happy faces do fall into glowers. So tired, so bored, yet now you're unsleeping, now losing the joy that you had been reaping. Constantly watching, so hooked on the screen, desperate for that hit of dopamine. To get up and move, to wander and stray, but you remain seated, slowly wasting away. Slothfully willing, we've come to this state, attached to our screens, we just vegetate. The next question comes from Big Bad Bob, who asks, "How did you end up in a jar?" Funnily enough, I was grown in one. Not this one, of course. Times have moved on a bit over the centuries, and my new accommodations are far less restrictive than my quote-unquote first home. The jacuzzi setting is my favourite. I suppose I could touch on some specifics a little. The Industrial Revolution focused on more than just textiles and ironworks. There were certain powers that be that were more concerned with the nation's safety. One never lacks for competitors after all. Measures were taken to revise Britain's security, and perhaps even certain ways of expanding future territories. A number of these experiments involved dabbling with life and how it could be moulded, forced to evolve into something greater. My purpose was to be grown at an exponential rate, be placed within a body, which they also had to grow, as growing fully functioning human beings at this stage was unsuccessful. Then my path forward was set before me. Certain events prevented this from happening, and so in a jar I remained, for a time. And that is all you're getting out of me today. The word is jelly. A meal request or ask of a snack with an ingredient you probably lack. To catch them up quick and keep them from fleeing, for these recipes will need a human being. There are so many choices of dishes to make, all a delight for your guests to partake. You can take the best peaches and deep fry a bunch, make sure that the skin has a satisfying crunch. You can put on a roast, make it into a pie, kebabs, barbecue, or even stir fry. So many methods with which you can play, but I'll let you know what's my favourite way. Take up some meat and leave none to waste, then grind it and squash it into a fine paste. Add some confection if that is your flavour, though don't add too much or the palate shall waver. Then pop some on toast, some crumpets or bread, a lovely preserve with a fine bloody spread. Mash them up good, go give it some welly, there's nothing quite like some fresh human jelly. The third comes from Lady Spookaria, who put, "More guides to survive." This was somewhat confusing, as I wasn't too sure as to whether this was a question, word, or a threat should I fail to continue the Guide to Survive series. Needless to say, I got my answer. In which case, yes, there will be more Guides to Survive. I'm hoping to mix them up a little. You may have noticed the new pop quiz model in the Valravan video. I'd really like to bring some animation into these videos as well. That would allow me to add a bit more of an artistic Jar 19 style to the series. Fortunately, there are so many cryptids all across the world for us to study that I think we'll be doing this for a good long while. And the word is more guides to survive. We're just going to go with it. What's that you say? You fear for your life from all the monsters and their ongoing strife? The ones that do lurk right outside of your home, coming and going they continue to roam. The ones that do step, their feet hitting the floor, hearing their footsteps grow close to your door. The ones that do wait quietly under your bed, hearing their whispers, it fills you with dread. Well, I must say that your fears are well founded. I'll not lie to you, for you are quite surrounded. But fear not, I say, and don't make a scene, for I'm here to help. It's me, Jar 19. I've studied all manner of cryptids and creatures, their strengths and their flaws, behaviours and features. I'll teach you the ways of this frightening lot, and so you can fight with all that you've got. It's all on a programme, I assure it's no lie. There are no refunds, good luck and don't die. A marvellous show to help you stay alive. There's only one way, with more guides to survive. And the final questions come from VendettaDylan, who asked, "What is your favourite colour, and who inspired you to become a narrator?" Firstly, I actually have two favourite colours, both green, because it works for me, and royal blue, because it's nice. Secondly, I started listening to Creepypastas, No Sleep, and Let's Not Meet stories in 2015, I think. I believe I was watching Why Would You Put That on the Internet with Rob Gavigan. There was some of his horror work in the recommended section, and so I checked that out as well. That connected to others such as Lazy Masquerade, Bee-Buster, etc., and I just kept finding more channels to check out. I've always enjoyed writing, and I figured the chances of getting my short stories, scary and otherwise, published was probably pretty slim. So I decided to publish them myself and started up my YouTube channel. With all that in mind, I suppose it was a number of people who inspired me to start up my channel. Plus, being a part of the horror community really does push you to keep making videos. I've said it before, but they really are a lovely bunch. If you're thinking of setting up a channel, scary or otherwise, then I'd highly recommend it. I think one of the worst things creative types can tell themselves is that they have nothing to offer, because it really isn't true. You have your own personal way of doing things, and that can really shine through with what you do. Have confidence in your work, put it out there, and never stop creating. And the word is Spooktacular. The horror family. Now just where should I begin? They're a fascinating bunch to whom I feel akin. A great many individuals who walk the path of fear, learning of its darkened ways and drawing you in near. People, demons, ghosts and such, beasts and witches too, immortals, creatures, freaks and ghouls, all reaching out to you. From here and there and everywhere, and even up and down, They're coming to your city, your village, and your town. They seek to bring you stories and let the horror reign, the kind of scary crowd to suit this disembodied brain. Let's not meet encounters which have you feeling somewhat colder, walking out as nighttime falls, have you watch over your shoulder. No sleep tales are for those who see monsters in the dark, discovering new things to fear. These ones really hit the mark. Narrations, gaming, songs and art, and also movie making. What little courage you have left is what they shall be taking. All of this and more on offer. I do hope that you'll take part. There's plenty room for many more, and it's not too late to start. Weaving such amazing stories in their vast creepy vernacular. This great old horror family, they really are spooktacular. So that ends it here, at least for now. I want to say a huge thank you to every single one of you for all of your fantastic support. It's a small milestone, but I'm proud of it, and I'm so pleased you're all on this journey with me to see just how far we can go. My next sub-special will be 500 subs, but until then we have plenty of creepypastas, creepypasta poems, guide to survives, and some other projects I'm working on as well. So, until the next video, good luck, and don't die!